Good afternoon. Thanks for obviously coming in front of the appropriations hearing on our annual venture into state budgeting. First question, do you believe our electric grid system as established is reliable and provides sufficient market signals for new generation funded with private capital, just like the Calpine's York Energy Center in York County to enter the Commonwealth?
Sure, I'll take a stab at this one. What you're referring to is the grid operator, PJM, and the job that they're doing across the 13 states plus the District of Columbia in terms of managing the grid. I think it's fair to say that almost any given day is a perfect storm at PJM. When you consider all of the potential forces that can come to bear that can upend a day, whether it's weather-related issues or it's system-related issues. So I think generally speaking that the sense is that PJM is doing a pretty good job in managing the grid. It's no surprise that they had a wake-up call back in 2014 with the polar vortex that really challenged the grid and was truly a wake-up call for not just PJM but for generators, where nearly a quarter of the generators did not show up for various reasons. And so these were some of the very coldest days of early 2014 and created some significant stress on the system, which resulted in gas prices spiking, and that all flowed downhill to customers that we regulate in Pennsylvania feeling the brunt of that. So I think PJM reacted fairly well to that, perhaps maybe a little bit more robustly than what we believe they should have in terms of a measured response. But I think that they're on the right track. They've firmed up those requirements for generation resources. Your question on well, let me go one more point on this. And, this has been an ongoing discussion between the states, not only Pennsylvania, but the other states that are in the PJM footprint. And we talk about the affordability, and that really is the role that comes to us in terms of rate making here in Pennsylvania. And I don't mean this as a disrespect to PJM, but I don't know that they've got that message yet. I think that's a message where it's a work in progress. When you look at some of the things that they have done in terms of shoring up generation resources, there is a reserve margin that you would expect would have an inverse relationship to that, and it has not. And so it may not sound significant, but we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars that are on the table here. So it's something that we're bullish about, and we make that comment with PJM on a regular basis. So the affordability piece is important, not only from the commodity standpoint, but also in construction projects. When you look at some of the cost overruns in those projects that, to your point on market signals, I think there are adequate market signals, but I think once we get to some of those construction projects, there's probably room for improvement when you can see cost overruns in some cases maybe several 100%. So the affordability piece is important for us in Pennsylvania, and we'll continue to make that clear with PJM.
Great, appreciate that. And one form of electric generation is afforded subsidies over another. It happens with government intrusion into the market, but who ultimately pays for those subsidies?
Customers.
Customers. All right.
Plain and simple.
Yeah, all right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.